members.
Hello.
Hi, Melanie. Jordan Cleet Kusher, Program Officer for the Elsa School Foundation.
Hi.
I'm Melanie Dick Margaret Troy. I'm the board advisor on the advisory board of the Elsa School Foundation.
Okay.
So tell us about you, Melanie.
Well, I've been executive director here at Ucan for about 9 years now. Prior to that, I was an attorney in private practice for about 22, 23 years. And I came to Ucan because one of my clients was the chair of the board of Ucan at the time. And that was my specialty in the legal field, is boards of directors, organizing them, getting the committee set up, things like that. And she asked me to help her come on the board to help her do that. And I never left.
Okay. So what does Ucan do?
We are a nonprofit spay-neuter clinic. When I first started, there were 70,000 puppies and kittens born every day compared to 10,000 people. And so there was never going to be enough homes for them all. So the first several years I was here, we focused solely on spay-neuter. We are based on a model, ASPCA Humane Alliance model. Animal welfare advocates and veterinarians got together years and years ago, and they created this high volume, low cost spay-neuter model. There are 300 some clinics across the United States. We are one of them. The Humane Alliance provides you with resources, training, those kind of things to help get these started. So we did that. We really focused on it. And what really attracted me to Ucan is because it is a solvable problem. So we hit spay-neuter hard for numerous years, and as a result of that, most of the shelters in our service area, which is 75-mile radius around our clinic, achieved what we call no-kill status, and that means that they saved at least 90% of the animals that came into their shelter. So because we got the pet population problem under control in most of the counties, there are still some counties like Adams County in Ohio and Brown County that need some more help. But so last year we thought, okay, we solved that problem. What can we do next? And we went on to access to basic veterinary care for people living in poverty. So it is a surrender prevention tool. We looked at why are people surrendering their beloved pets to shelters, and we are trying to solve those problems for them so that they do not have to do that. And the piece that Ucan solves is the access to basic veterinary care. And now with the pet food pantry that we just started this year, we can also provide them with pet food during temporary crisis time, provide them with pet food, leashes, basic essentials that they need for their pets.
Are some of those services similar to those provided by Pets in Need?
Yes, our wellness model is the same income qualifications as theirs. We have a wider geographic scope than they do, and a little bit wider services. Like we can do other types of surgeries that pets need if they have like a minor mass removal or something like that. I know Pets in Need has been working on expanding the types of services that they can do also.
Aren't you in the SPCA's location on Coleraine?
No, we're right down the street from them. We own our own building.
Oh, okay.
And clinic.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about the program that you're seeking funding for from the Elsa Foundation.
Sure. Well, like I said, last year we launched a wellness business, and that's for income qualified pet owners. Their family income has to be at or below 200% of the federal poverty rate. That's what Pets in Need has used successfully, and we decided to keep that. Or people in emergency situations, like clients of Interfaith Hospitality Network, Women's Crisis Center, clients that are temporarily homeless because of a good reason. And like we had one couple that their house burned down, and so their pet needed vaccinations immediately so it could go to a boarding facility. So we help in those kind of situations too. But the primary focus is the pet owners living in poverty who meet that rate. So what we do is for $40, they can come in and they get their basic exam and they get the core recommended vaccines, and that's rabies, because that's required by law in Hamilton County for any pets over 3 months of age. We give distemper parvo for the dogs, FERCP for the cats. Those prevent very costly medical issues for them to treat. We also give a free microchip with a lifetime registration. We have prevented many animals from entering the shelter system by having that microchip, because they can contact the owners instead of doing that. And then, so we're slowly expanding. We started with just the basic wellness like that to see what came in. We were treating minor things like upper respiratory issues, mange, other skin issues. And we've been slowly expanding the types of things that we can treat. Our goal is to eventually become a full service clinic for income qualified pet owners, doing everything except the really specialized things like orthopedic surgeries and things like that, where there's only a few specialists in town that do it.
Would you say that you are an alternative to a veterinary clinic?
No, we do not compete with the veterinary clinics. For anybody that can afford their services, we prefer they go to the veterinary clinics. And we have a good relationship with the Cincinnati Veterinary Medical Association. They actually had one of their board meetings here. We do not serve the same clientele. And actually, most of them have told me that they're thankful we're here because they get asked to do a lot of pro bono work. And I mean, they're a for-profit enterprise and they can't afford to do that much. So we have totally different clienteles, and we actually have several vet practices that donate to us and refer their clients to us.
Well, I think that was what I was trying to say, is that you're the veterinary clinic for those folks at the 200% below poverty level, right?
Right. We're the veterinary clinic for those that cannot afford a regular for-profit vet hospital.
But then you also collaborate with Interfaith Hospitality with their housing program for pets.
Yes. Yes, they are the only organization in Cincinnati that I know of that helps homeless people and their pets. And as a result, a lot of the homeless organizations have reached out to them to help with their pets also. And over the last couple of years, we've also created relationships with the YWCA Domestic Violence Department and the Women's Crisis Center of Northern Kentucky. So when the women leave their abusers, Interfaith Hospitality Network will house the pets, and then they bring them here for their spay, neuter, and all their vaccinations so that they can be housed or boarded while they work with the abuse victim to find permanent pet-friendly housing.
You don't provide any type of housing for pets?
No.
Strictly.
I'm sorry.
Do you do anything with the Ohio Alley Cat?
Yes, they're a partner of ours. We meet monthly with them, and we've developed programs to collectively try to solve the animal issues. For example, the last 3 years, the SPCA and Ucan met monthly, and we conducted 3 free vaccine clinics in Price Hill. Price Hill had the number one, had the most owner surrendered dogs and owner surrendered cats to the SPCA over the last 5 to 6 years. So we targeted that area. We all 3 came together to offer free vaccines, a free spay neuter voucher, microchips, dog licensing, and that kind of stuff. So we all worked together collaboratively to try to solve any issue that a pet owner would face that would make them have to surrender their pet.
This is going to sound like a strange question, and I was just thinking about it, kind of reading your application recently. Is there a, I guess, a quantifiable dollar amount like, when you hear that there's like animals on the street, and obviously if you spay and neuter them, then you're kind of you're obviously limiting the ability for them to reproduce. Is there a dollar amount that kind of like, not necessarily the damage they cause, or just, I don't know what I'm getting at here, but the cost benefit analysis, spaying and neutering pets, other than just the fact that they won't be reproduced, is there an able to put a dollar amount on that? And if I've never heard one before, but I always hear kind of people talk about how they always list that, we want to stop cats and dogs from reproducing and causing strays, but then I just didn't know if there was maybe more to it. And if there's not, that's okay. I just thought of it when I was
Well,
looking
no,
at
that's actually a good question. I can tell you that, like, for example, Hamilton County spends over $1 million a year on dog warden services.
Mhm.
So that is a cost that all taxpayers, regardless of whether they like animals or not,
Yeah.
that's a cost all taxpayers have to pay. It used to be something like, I don't, $156 or something like that per animal for like police officers to deal with animals hit by cars, those kind of things. So they used to quantify it in that, and it's basically telling the community, look, through police officers dealing with nuisance complaints for cats or stray dogs, all of that, we're all paying for it. It is really a community issue, so for Hamilton County, they pay a little over $1 million a year on that. I think Claremont County is not quite that much. I think theirs was like 700,000, but it's those kind of, so it is quantifiable on that. And that's what we're trying to help. The less stray animals out there, the less kind of calls that they're going to get, and the less police time and that they're going to have to spend on, housing those pets, feeding them until they can find a solution. Like in Ohio, for example, Ohio statute provides that each county has to have a dog warden and has to deal with stray dogs. So that's a cost that each county has.
Do police get a lot of calls for stray dogs and cats? I just not something I would ever think. I would just kind of see a stray cat and kind of look at it and be like, oh, that's a cute cat. But then I wouldn't think to call the police. I just never thought of that was like something people would call.
Right. They're supposed to call
authorities
the local shelter, but the police get a lot of calls, particularly when unfortunately animals are hit by cars, because then it does become an issue.
Makes sense. Okay. I thought of that. I live right by a shelter, so that's why it's always like people are always just like, oh, if you see one, go straight to the shelter. So I feel like that's like the mindset where I live. But like, I guess when you don't live near a shelter, that's kind of would be the next best person to call, I guess. I'm okay.
Right.
Yeah.
At least they hopefully know someone to contact you.
So with your funding model, you said that clinic service fees are 63.4% of your revenue. So that's what's paid by the people that seek your services?
Yes.
Okay. But so you have very reduced rates though.
Right.
And then your grants are 21% and individual donations 14%, and fundraising is just a Kroger card.
Oh no, fundraising is donations and things like that. I think it was grants and donations, and then they separated out that it's like Kroger card, Amazon card, Remke's card, community shares, things like that.
I got it. Okay. So do you have a pretty consistent individual donor base, or is it just sporadic?
We have a pretty consistent donor database that's followed us for years and continues to donate.
All right. Well, Jordan, do you have a question?
I can't think any off the top of my head. I feel like I understand it pretty well, kind of what you guys are doing and accomplishing. No, I can't really think of anything.
So your program budget is $50,000 for the medical services, right?
For Northern Kentucky, yes.
Northern Kentucky.
Yeah.
How long have you served Northern Kentucky?
Long before I got here, we've had free monthly transports for spay neuter from like Boone County, Campbell County, Kenton County, Grant County, Pendleton County, and Gallatin County. I stopped our Gallatin County one a couple of years ago because the demand had just decreased because we hit that county so hard. And they can still go to our Pendleton County or Boone County transports if they like. And we have clients from other counties, Carroll County, Owen County, they'll hop on like the Pendleton County transport or the Owen County. We don't go on transport further away than an hour because we don't think that that's good for the animals to be in a transport van longer than an hour.
So are these individual people that qualify for your services from an income standpoint? Are they just putting their pet in transport and it comes up and is serviced, or are these from shelters?
Both. We partner with the county shelters and we will pick up the shelter animals plus owned pets because the two main reasons people don't spay neuter their pets are cost and access. So to address that access part, many don't have transportation or won't drive that far. So we will pick up both shelter animals and publicly owned animals, bring them to the clinic, they get surgery, they spend the night to recover. We check on everybody the next morning and then they are returned to that county shelter to be picked up by the owners.
Well, we've done several site visits at Ohio Alley Cat.
Yes.
And to see them all lined up and the vets going from one table to the other table, is that kind of how you do it?
Yes. We're a little bit different because we do dogs and they don't. And our facility is much larger. I really hope you guys get the opportunity to come in person and see, because there's nothing like watching. We have an amazing medical team, but it's really similar to that. All the animals, they check in the morning, the transport checks in, and then yes, the surgeons basically stay in the operating room all day and move from table to table. And the medical team, the registered vet techs and the vet assistants are constantly prepping the animals and taking them over to them. And then we typically get done by about 2:30 in the afternoon. And then they have we want every animal to recover here for 2 or 3 hours, just so that we know they're okay. And then dogs go home the same day, and the cats all spend the night and they go home the next morning.
What's the rough percentage dogs to cats? Is it 50-50, 80-20, 70-30, roughly?
It's about 60% cats, 40% dogs. And the reason for that is dogs are very physically hard for our staff. So we can only do 25 dog surgeries a day. Otherwise you just wear out your medical team. Because I mean, we had a cane corso in here yesterday that was 115 pounds. So it's a lot for, and honestly, I mean, a lot of the shelters, it's mostly pit bulls and it's the larger dogs. So they can only physically do a certain number of dogs per day, and cats of course are much easier on that, and the surgeries go a lot faster.
From a supply standpoint, I know if I take my dog or cat to be spayed at the regular vet, they come home with a collar or something. Do you send them home with that type of protective?
We do for the male dogs. Those are the ones that tend to lick their incisions. The female dogs don't have that same issue.
Okay.
And the cats don't.
No.
But
it's available for anybody if they want it.
Okay.
On your funding, the funding you get from like the Sewell Foundation, is that used to help cover services that you provide to people that can't afford them otherwise?
Correct.
Okay, so if they can afford the minimal, then they'll pay, but otherwise you don't turn anybody away.
Correct. We've never turned anybody away for inability to pay. We'll just cover it and do it for free. But even with our low fees, we end up having to put some form, either partially or all subsidized, about 50 to 60% every year. That shows, because we focus on those low income families. So even our low fees, I mean, $45 for cat surgery is crazy. I mean, it's $150 at a full service vet. So yes, we ended up, this grant would cover the portion of the cost that they couldn't, or if for like the women in the domestic violence shelters or the homeless people, it would have to cover it all because they obviously don't have any money. But for the people who can afford to pay our fees, absolutely, we let them pay the fees. We want to focus just on the people who can't.
The vets that are doing the surgery, are they full-time employees of the organization? Are they contracted? Are they part-time? How do you,
They are, we always have vets that are employees. These
full-time?
are full-time employees. Amy, our medical director, has been here 7 years.
Mhm.
And Amy Hunrick moved here from Indianapolis. This will be her 2nd year here, but she worked at a clinic before then. We send them all down to Humane Alliance for training. They are very specialized and the best at what they do.
The transportation cost, who pays for that?
We do. That's part of our operating costs.
For your operating costs? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you encourage people who can pay to come?
Oh, yes. For our spay neuter portion, we ask everybody to do it. And we don't income qualify for that because we want everybody to get their pet spay neutered. And even if they can't afford a full service vet, I mean, like for some of these large dogs, they get quoted $500 to $750 for a large dog. We'd rather us spay neuter the pet and they save that money for if their dog gets ill or injured or something like that. So they have the money to take care of them.
How do people know that you are a more cost-effective provider as opposed to not being considered competition for the regular vets? How do you weigh that?
We've been around for so long that I think everybody knows, who we are and what we are. Like I said, a lot of the full service vets will refer their clients to us for spay neuter for that reason. I mean, some of the vets don't even, maybe we'll do 1 spay neuter a month. They prefer not to do them. It takes a lot of training and specialty. So we do have that. And when I started, we reached out to all the vets in our area. And like I said, we partner with a lot for clients that come to us that we cannot currently treat something they have, like cancer, diabetes, chronic conditions. We have some vets around here that we partner with and we'll send them to there. And we even get grants. Like I have a grant from the Joni Bernard Foundation right now that if a cat comes here for spay neuter or for wellness and we can't treat it, that grant will pay for one of our vet partners to treat it. So it's really a collaborative effort. And if the vets come, like pyometra infections, an infection of the uterus, MedVet used to, they would quote like $2,500 or something like that, and for a surgery, and they used to euthanize the pets if the owner couldn't afford it. So when I found that out, one of the first things I did was reach out to them in Care Center and say, don't do that, send them to us. We'll do it for our $90 fee, or we'll do it for free if they need it. So really, we've created this great partnership with them. So I don't think there's that confusion. And the people that call us are not people that can afford it. And we get referrals from the shelter, a lot of times from the shelters, because people will reach out to their county shelter if they need help. And the vet clinics that have been around a while all know about us and will refer people to us.
You must be pretty busy.
Yes. We are constant. I never have to market for spay neuter services.
If you refer some animal that you can't do to one of the other veterinarians, and these people are not able to pay, how do they handle that?
Sometimes we get grants, like the grant I have now for cats. I can pay that out of that grant. The others, we beg the veterinarians, and most, because we will send other clients to them who can pay, they're willing to help us out and help that client out.
So you've got a good relationship with most of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious. You have asked the ELSA Foundation for $15,000 as part of the overall proposed budget of $50,000 for Kentucky, but yet the question that says, what other funding would you be seeking to cover the other 35% and you said none. Is that what you meant?
Well, no, I put in here that the Friends of the Shelter offers a subsidy for the dog spay neuter.
Okay,
Let's see.
Yeah, are you looking under section 6, question 1, Ruth?
2.
Look under question 1, look above
All
it.
right, I got that. I
And
got it.
explains it. It
Yeah.
says listed Joni Bernard and the Friends of the Shelter.
Right, I got the Joni Bernard, yeah, okay. All right, do you have any questions for us?
I don't think so.
Okay, I mean, I don't have anything else, Dick or Andy?
No, it's pretty self-explanatory.
How about Miles? Does he have any questions?
I don't know. He ran out the front door about a half hour ago.
Usually we're the ones with the dogs barking.
So yeah, we don't have any more questions. Our board meeting is at the end of April. And we usually like to get back to everybody within the first week, within a week of our meeting, excuse me. So the first week of May, roughly, you'd be hearing back from us.
Okay. Well, thank you all for the time and the opportunity to tell you about everything that we do.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Uh-huh. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Anything else?
No?
Okay.
No, and then we come back here at 3:30.
Yep, we got another one at 2, but that's something different, or 2:15.
Yeah, okay, see,
3:30?
are you coming back at 3:30?
Now, 3:30, I've got a meeting on my other condo. I'm hoping to get rid of some furniture. So I'm anxious to do that. So
Okay.
I'll be doing that, but I'll watch that one later on.
Okay,
Good enough. Have a good one.
See ya.
See ya.